volume percent concentration works very similarly to mass percent, except you're working with volumes. Also, when we're looking at volume percent, we only have one form of the equation: the volume of the solute divided by the volume of the solution. It's important that you know the entire volume of the solution, since when you can combine two different liquids or a solid into a liquid, the total volume of it isn't always additive. So grams are something that add together evenly, milliliters are not, so volumes don't necessarily add directly. The units of the volume for volume percent must be the same throughout, so we can work with liters, milliliters, deciliters, but most often we're going to be working with milliliters. So let's take a look at how we might use volume percent. So here's an example. You have an option of buying two different 500 milliliter bottles of rubbing alcohol or isopropyl alcohol. So the first one has 70% volume percent isopropyl alcohol, and it costs $1.99. The 91% by volume isopropyl alcohol costs $2.50. And you want to know which one will give you more isopropyl alcohol for the price. So this could be an important thing if you were trying to make a solution to kill off viruses, because you have to have a certain percent alcohol to be able to kill those viruses. So it depends on where you're looking, between 60 and 70%. So if you want to have 70% isopropyl alcohol, sure, you could just buy that bottle and it'd be ready to go. Or maybe that 91%, if you just add a little water to it and dilute it down to 70%, maybe that's a better buy. So that's the type of thing that's going on with this question, is they're wondering which one will give us more isopropyl alcohol for the price. So what we need to do is figure out which of these bottles how much isopropyl alcohol there is in each of these bottles. So let's take a look at the first one. So the 70%, we can break that down. So 70%, we can say that's 70 milliliters of the alcohol, so isopropyl alcohol, for every 100 milliliters of the solution. So using the percent. We know we had 500 milliliters of the solution from that problem. So 500 milliliters. So we can take our 500 milliliters of solution, multiply by 70 out of 100. So we get about 350 milliliters of alcohol. We're making some assumptions about what the significant figures were here. Typically you might round it to 1, but I'm going to go ahead and keep two significant figures just for a little bit of comparison. I'm assuming they measured a little better than they recorded on the bottle. Now, I want to use this percent, or this value, so I want to look and see the cost is $1.99 for that bottle, or 199 cents. So I'm just going to figure out how many milliliters of alcohol I can get per cent. So I'm just going to divide this through. I'm not going to go through the math in this too much. It's just a way that I'm using to compare it. There's a lot of different ways that you can compare things. If you're doing this in the store, you've probably done this before, where you try and compare, okay, like ounces of this to ounces of that, liters of that, liters of this. So you want to make sure that you have things in the same units so you're comparing them. So I'm going to want to figure this out for the other bottle as well, as how many milliliters of isopropyl alcohol are there per every cent that I'm spending. So I'm going to take a look and do the same steps for the 91% bottle. So the 91% bottle, I have 91 milliliters of isopropyl alcohol for every 100 milliliters of solution. I can multiply that through by that 500 milliliters of a solution. I get around 455 milliliters of alcohol. I'm not going to worry too much about the significant figures at this point. Just kind of going through the concept here, because this is kind of like the type of calculation you might do quickly in the grocery store or when you're trying to buy things online. The cost, $2.50 or 250 cents. So if I calculate out the milliliters per cent, I have 455 milliliters for every 250 cents, so 1.82 milliliters per cent. So that is more isopropyl alcohol, so 1.82 milliliters for every cent that I spend. So I'm going to go ahead and choose that 91% bottle. Now, this is, a lot of calculations for some. You might just kind of eyeball it or guesstimate it. But, if you're trying to do a large amount of something like this could lead to really significant savings to do this type of a calculation. It's figuring out how much of that volume do I have. There's a lot of different calculations that you can do with volume percent. So this is just one possible way that you could use it.